Greetings, royal queens and kings. It's your host, Queen Tulsa. We definitely want to start off the show by saying prayers up to Angie Stone's family, fans, and those are the people around the world that appreciated her music. She was taken out in a car accident. Miss Angie Stone was crying out before she went to glory. Now we're here because Keke Wyatt and Zackariah has broken up. Child, her cousin won. Listen, it's a lot going on. Let's go ahead and pull up this article right here that we found on TikTok. Okay, so let's take a listen and we'll be right back.
Bottles of wine a day.
Not Krishan Rock. No.
Keziah. His name Keziah Jean or John Darring. And she said, but I drunk with all of the kids. And I T. When you come on now, 20% of the top of the special needs. The baby had trisomy 13 because you were drinking 7-8 bottles of wine a day.
Not Krishan Rock. No.
Keziah. His name Keziah Jean or John Darring. And she said, but I drunk with all of the kids. And I T. When you come on now, 20% of the anybody like a little good glass of wine. We had, but pregnant bottles till 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, whatever. And so I'm going all over the place. Tasha, forgive me.
No, you're not. You good. Because I know it's a lot of information you're trying to get out.
Oh my
so you're
God.
saying that the special needs child is special needs because Keke drank while being pregnant with that baby.
Well, she don't know it. You ask her. I was there. I witnessed it. There's the Bible in here. I went and got 7-8 bottles of wine every other day, or 10, and pregnant. How about that one?
Is she an alcoholic? Is alleged?
Of course.
So why get her the bottles if she pregnant though? Like why buy her the bottles?
Girl, I even started. She kept trying to convince me. Have some wine with me. Have some wine with me. And I started having like some shots.
You were developing an addiction too.
Oh no. Well, yeah, you could. I guess you could say that in a way. I wasn't no drunk, no alcoholic. I was so depressed.
When life gives you lemons, Rockstar Wireless.
There you are, girl. I just got an
starting to think, oh,
credit card.
Lord knows I need.
All right, so you all, that was Keke Wyatt's ex-husband, Zackariah. Child, he was going in. He said that Keke Wyatt was having him go and get the liquor. Okay, now listen here. This is not nothing funny, but her last baby, I guess she was drinking a lot per her ex-husband. We're gonna take a listen in. If you all can please like, share, and subscribe. This is going to be about, let's say, if you have an hour of your time and you can donate it here, we're going to take a listen at what Keke Wyatt's ex-husband has said about Keke Wyatt. And I don't know if you all know, Keke Wyatt is laying up with her cousin. Let's get into it.
Hey, you guys. I'm sorry I had to come back on here because the video ended. I wasn't able to talk to him and see my kids. It was impossible for me to call her because I refused contact with her because of the her maniac ways, the demonic, the belittling, the verbal abuse. That's done for life, as I stated. And so at this particular time, I wasn't able to talk to them anyway because her and her cousin were living together. I'll call it allegedly or whatever you want to say. November the 3rd, I'm sorry, the 4th or so after I left, 3 weeks later, Larry was living there in the house. She had moved Larry in, which is her cousin, Larry Weathers. And he was still married to his wife, Ebony Weathers. That's these guys. Okay. And I'll put that picture back up here in a minute. But forgive me, my camera is over here. So if I'm looking over here, it's just better for me. The way I have my camera, you got a bigger picture, but I'm looking at myself. But the camera's over here. So don't pay any attention to that. So anyway, I was not able to, when I left and I had to leave for the last time, as I expressed, my oldest son was bumping into me. She had confronted my oldest son. I was his stepfather, for stealing her money. And he had been taking out over $100 a day. And she allowed it to go on for about 7 days. And so he had racked up over $1,000 he had taken from her out of the ATM. He was taking $100 out of the ATM. Plus, him and his girlfriend, Zackariah, were spending $250 to $300 every other day. The expenses were every other day was like $300, $250 was racking up every 2 days of them going out to eat, going to different places, to fun places and stuff, and ordering stuff off Amazon. My second oldest son, again, was the stepfather. That's why I'm talking like this. He had recently, I don't know, 5 or 6 months prior, put the card, his mother's debit card, Kiki's debit card, on his older brother's phone. Raja has had her debit card since he was 14 years old. She allowed him, when Michael Jamar, her ex-husband, left, Raja, she got him a card from the bank, another debit card, his own card. And at 14 had him paying the rent, the lease, the mortgage or whatever, the house, and paying bills. And so he would take her card and he'd buy and do whatever he wanted to. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, he ate whatever he wanted to eat, steak, lobster, shrimp, it don't matter what, he got whatever he wanted. And in my time being there over 5.5 years, it's sometimes 5 and 6 boxes coming every day. Sometimes it was 2, but it was something coming almost every day from Amazon, it seemed like, from Raja with her money. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. She allowed it, and that's her business. I had no say so. And she was raising the older children, raising monsters because they were spoiled. And so sometimes she would not give the children money. And Bean did not have her card for all these years. He recently, before I left in 2023, November 2023, again, as I stated, his younger brother, Raja, who had the card since he was 14, he had it put on his Apple phone, on the iPhone, to where he could, buy stuff. He had the card on his phone. So it was the same thing as having a physical card. That recently had happened, just before I left. So Raja was doing whatever he wanted. He went through like 13 cars in 2 months' time, lying, fake pay stubs, and all this stuff to get it done, to get the vehicles, and doing all this mess, getting checks from CarMax, and all this foolishness that they could, they knew it would put him in prison, put him in jail. Fraud. And so I couldn't say anything about this. I knew all along. You know, she was so ignorant. He'll tell her mom, deposit this check from me from CarMax or whatever. Oh, okay. How did you get this? Dummy. God forgive me. Just ignorant. And so, with all that being said, um, she confronted these. She confronted Bean. He was the only one that was called into the room. He was the only one that was called into the room, and confronted him about taking her money. Now Raja, on the other hand, for the most part, she never confronted Raja. She allowed him to do whatever. He buy stuff. He buy whatever he want, and it's just when it got outrageous. Sometimes, I remember there being times, we were on our way to the airport, and all these different vehicles. He had gotten a Mercedes Benz from CarMax, and she noticed he had withdrawn $1,500 after she left for work. I was driving her to the airport because she had a show. And she said, "What are you doing? You just took out $1,500 and you didn't call me and ask me for what?" "Oh, Mom, I got to fix this oil pan. I got to fix something on the truck." Didn't even say anything to her. He was that bold because he had been spending her money. Now, meanwhile, I didn't let Raja know, but Bean knew, my oldest son, Mimi knew, but I kept at least $15,000 cash in my car. I had a safe in my car. I also had 2 different accounts. And Miss Wyatt, when I came into the marriage, she told me, she said that she would like to be private, with her money and everything. I said, "I'm not here for that." No, when I would take her to the bank, she walked up by herself. That's none of my business. I'm not there for that. Again, excuse me if I'm looking off. The camera is over here, but this is better with me talking, just doing it this way. So y'all don't pay no attention to that. I'm explaining that I'm nipping this in the bud because it's actually foolishness, but I have to nip this in the bud as before I go into full-time ministry. And so this is the day that I had to leave that house forever. And God set it up. He used the older kids, Bean and Raja, primarily Bean at the time. And so, and Raja. And so she brought Bean into questioning for taking her money that day that I had to leave and stealing her money. He began to lie. He lied even on my older sister, saying that he had to get edibles and he had to send all this stuff to Arizona, and he had to send all these things and whatnot, lying on her that this is where the money was going to, and it was him and Zackariah ordering stuff off the internet, clothes, you name it, going out to eat, spending it, different spots, fun spots that they're going to, and without saying anything to her. And so, she said, "Well, then why were you, if you spend it $200-$300 to guy, why are you taking $100 a day?" "Oh, well, I was just taking it out because I didn't want you to be mad. I didn't want to take out too much. It was just a bunch of mess." And so he's coming in to so-called take up for his older brother. And because Raja was his mother, she looked at him like that was her God. And that's why she allowed him, all the children knew, to do whatever he wanted to do. He didn't have to, Raja, the older children, they didn't have to respect nobody but Keke, their mother. She'll jump on them. She'll put her hands on them, slap them, beat them down, whatever. But anybody else saying anything to her kids, the thought was, she'll kill them. She'll take them out. I'll kill you for messing with my children. For if you say one word to my kids, her children were her God, but Raja was her God. And so she allowed him to just do and so she created a monster. Plenty of times, there's a particular story. My oldest son was with Mimi, and they were in the Suburban, and he always was involved with road rage. He hated most human beings, people. He didn't like people. And the only people he liked was someone that would kiss his behind. And I was always kissing behind. I kissed all my children behind. It wasn't fake. It was love. But you're sick and tired. I love my children. I look past them being spoiled and them having these monstrous characteristics, but she caused it by the way she raised them. She raised them to not have to respect anybody but her and everything like that. One particular case, my kids came home and told my oldest son, Mimi, they were probably afraid. Raja, there was a lady he was following. She didn't get out of the way quick enough. He was trying to bully her he had a big old Suburban that belonged my wife, her Suburban. And he followed the woman home and did donuts in her yard, in her flower bed, and tore up her whole yard. And the children were worried, Mimi and Bean, anyone could have came out with a firearm and laid them down, out of the house. It could have been deadly. And stuff like this happened, calling women in Kroger's in different places, the B word, the BITCH word, for 40-year-old black women, 50-year-old black women, and she could have had a son in the parking lot. She could have had a son in the store or anything, and it would have been over. You're getting chased home on the freeway because he done pissed somebody off or did some type of road rage foolishness, and calling his mother, saying he had to call the police. He's afraid somebody's trying to follow him home, that they're going to try to kill him because he has done something foolish. He done flicked somebody off. He done did this and that. And he's going over 100 miles an hour trying to get away from them now. So he would do stuff, but then be a coward and not be able to back it up and want somebody, put his mother and me or anybody else in jeopardy to have to defend him. And so this young man, when I turned 21, I'm gonna get a gun. And we weren't mad at each other or anything at the time, but I remember it was just a little discussion. He said, "Yeah, Zach, you too big. I would have to shoot you." I grew up around Detroit, Michigan. I live in the suburbs, but every time I went out, somebody was getting killed. Individuals, 2 or 3 people getting shot to death. I've had people shot and killed standing 20 feet away from me. The bullets rang out. 15 shots from a 40 caliber handgun. I've been at the cabaret years ago where I was with friends and with the wrong crowd, and a birthday party at a cabaret in Detroit, Michigan. And the bouncers put drug dealers out and they roughed them up, throwing them out. They went back to their cars, got sawed-off shotguns and AR-15s, and came back, shooting everybody, shooting the bouncers. And because I am a big guy, I look like a bouncer. I had to go run and dive into the coat closet and tell the doorman, lock it up before we get killed, because they would have killed me thinking that I was a bouncer. They were shooting all the security because of how big I was. So I'm giving all this information to tell you how serious this stuff was. So I'm a gentle giant, but I'm not no pusher. I'm like a real life Rambo. When you go to these car shows and stuff, you need about 200 rounds of ammunition and the Tommy gun or Uzi. And so I'm not going to get into what I carried or what I had or any of that, but I'm not the one. I am a man of God. But you remember the movie Rambo, he told everybody, he said he was a nice guy. He said, I didn't do anything. And at the end of the day, everybody got laid down. So I have to run away from stuff and separate myself. I got time. We don't tolerate bullies. We don't tolerate the games, and we separate ourselves from the foolishness, because that's Satan's agenda, to try to get you behind bars or to get you in your grave. And so too many people have died. Too many people I've known. And I've been in circumstances, and the biggest and the baddest. And, even some months ago, I told friends of mine, I said, listen, God said I'm not to be in any circumstances, environments where I have to fight or where I have to deal with a situation or violence or anything like that. God has me for full-time ministry, and you guys can't put me into anything I don't need to be. Well, my sister got punched in the mouth. She's not my biological sister. She's like a sister to me through my brother, my little brother Pierre, my former pastor's son. And so his wife ended up, my sister, his wife, she ended up getting punched in front of me by a member of the family, an uncle, who was supposed to be the baddest man in town, known for beating people up. And guess what? He got laid down. I had to restrain him, and he got laid down. And God don't want me in those type of situations. And I bless his name. I have to say all of this. I have to get all this out, because we're just keeping it real. Okay. So just because a person is nice and just because they're easygoing does not mean that they are pushovers. And that is who I am. I am not a pushover. And so I fear the Lord. I love the Lord. And I repent when I'm wrong or if I do wrong. And so anyway, I told that story to say that I have wisdom. Even while I wait for wisdom, I have enough discernment to understand that you have to be careful. So anyway, going back into this, she dealt with the older son, and he's apologized, mom, and and she accepted and everything, and it was not even a slap on the wrist or whatever. I kept my mouth closed because I didn't have a voice. Well, anyway, they left the room, and they went out there. Raja sat around the corner, but before he had left out the room, he called my sister fake, Maria, talking about I tried to talk to her. He tried to talk to his auntie, my older sister, and she was being fake. And so he lied on my sister. And then he said, I don't like being around any fake people. And so, which was referring to me that he didn't like being around. I'm in the room and I'm fake and everything. And so he left the room. Bean did, and his older brother did too. Well, he went out there and sat down. Bean went out over, like going over towards his place or his room or whatever. And Raja sat in the chair. Well, I came over there and started talking to Raja, and he was afraid because he had just called me fake. And he started bringing up, well, you restrained mom. I don't know if you'll restrain us, or you gonna restrain me, because he was talking crazy. And I'm in his, I'm in his face. I'm talking to him. I'm just like, Raja was, just keep it. Never threatened. Never talking about he had a dream that I restrained him and all this stuff. These kids, he would call me broke ASS. I'm tired of these broke A and I, the word NIGG, and to referring to his biological father and me. When, like I said, I had 2 accounts, and I kept like $15,000 in the trunk of my car. Whenever they needed something, put $500 in his hand. No, thank you. Not even a thank you. Talking about he lost money of work. He never worked. He didn't have a job or anything. And he some little job he's supposed to have started. He lost $500 to make. I put it in his hand, but not even a thank you. Being his older brother, most of the time I didn't have to give Raja money because he had the card. He would tell me, oh, I don't need that, Zach. I have the card, his mother's card, debit card. And so it was monsters, the older children in the house. Being Mimi, anytime they needed money, they knew they come to their daddy. I was daddy until I stood up for myself, because I was always kissing they behind, and they wasn't used to me saying anything. I couldn't tell them to wash the dishes. I couldn't tell them to take out the trash. Don't tell me nothing. They didn't even like their own mother telling them anything. But she's in their house, and it's gonna be a beat down. She's gonna jump on you. This woman, Keke, she pulled a gun on her own son because him and his younger sister were fighting. Mimi, at 13 years old or something, Bean, the older son, went and got food. He came home. They had some words. I guess Mimi was like, why didn't you get me something or something? And she got, Bean got in her face or something like that, like, shut up, leave me alone or whatever. And he got in her face, she said, and she told him to back up, and she hauled off and punched him 5 or 6 times, knocked his glasses off and everything. And Takai, his girlfriend, was there, and she's yelling. And we run down the steps. We right up in the bedroom, and here Bean done fell on her like a dork. And I love my oldest son. Stepfather, it don't matter. These I was married to family. It don't matter. The kid, they just spoiled. And so he falls on her like a dork. He's not used to fighting or anything like that. I'd have been in my brother was a world class wrestler. Okay, he was an Olympic wrestler. My nephew wrestled for Arizona State. We some bad boys. We not the one. Somebody's gonna want to put them bullets in us, and it would be wise to do so versus fighting us. No, we were just keeping it real over here. Okay, but and so he falls on her, and so his mother, Keke, she runs and dives and puts her hand into the diaper bag and pulls out her 9mm handgun, and she had the bullets right there. She snapped it. She put the clip in, cocked it back, and had a finger on the trigger, and was holding it 3 feet away from his chest, ready to blow him away. She empty it all in him. She said, "So you fighting my older daughter? You down here fighting you fighting your little sister? I'm sorry, I said that wrong. She was 13. Bean was like 21, something like that. You down here fighting your little sister, jumping on your little sister, whatever." And he's telling her, shoot me. I don't want to live anyway. Kill me. I don't want to live anyway. I had to come back on here and give the whole scoop. Okay. I had to come back on here and just tell it like it is and get all this information out. This is my story. Okay. This is what went down in Miss Keke Wyatt's house. Okay. And so it wasn't our house. It was her house. And so she was always calling me broke and all of this stuff, but her money was her money. And, I didn't have anything to do with it. I didn't know however much money she had. That was never none of my business. She didn't know that I had money coming in. That was none of her business. Remember, her money was none of my business. My money was none of her business. Since we're doing it that way, I'm not there for that. I'm there, and so I could drop down $700 weekly. Oh, keep that. Don't say that for dinner tonight. Tip the waitress, because she'll tip the waiter for you $500, $600, $350, $400. I'm not rich, okay, but I did have money coming in, and I didn't have to work. I had money coming in monthly. weekly. She didn't know about it, but I didn't know about hers. It's there for love and family, right? And so I'm with you. I'm like, ooh, you know. And so anytime the children needed money or something, they knew they could come to me. And where did I go? To the car. The only person I kept that from was Raja, because he loved money, you know. And so, but I had a safe anyway in the whip. He couldn't have got in there, but whatever. Okay. And so, well, he had my keys. He could have, if he found it, or he knew, he could have, taken the safe and just try to saw it open. I don't know, whatever. So, but Mimi and them knew every time I go to the car, I get the cash, let alone bank account. With all that being said, she pulled a gun on this boy, her son, and he's like, she jumped on me, started hitting me, and all this stuff like that. And I'm crying because she ready to kill this boy, shoot him down. So anyway, she ends up putting him out the house. I ended up talking to her. I ended up going to get my son. He don't walk blocks and blocks away. I end up having to go find my son. He don't walked away from the house. And I'm crying and crying. And I bring him back to that house. And I said, baby, please, just I'll take care of it, but don't do him like this. Yeah, my oldest son, because I loved all the children. Okay. That's the type of stuff that went on. So anyway, fast forward a few years later, he's going to the hotel gyms. I repetitiously lift 405, 5 and 6 times for reps. I could do 4 or 5 sets of those, and 315 times, and a max bench press of 500 pounds. But he's got the hotel weights, 25, 35 pounds, hotel weights, and he's a bad man now. In other words, young men filling their oats, or what are filling themselves. And so anyway, fast forward back to the situation at hand, her having to get on him for taking her money. I'm talking to Raja, Bean comes and starts bumping into me. And the reason why he was bumping into me is he's still upset because a month prior, I had to leave and leave the state, go to my sister's house, because I had to tell my oldest son, Bean, stop following me around the house. He was upset, talking about, why did I get into it with the nurse? I didn't get into it with the nurse. The nurse had given me her hand. I was asking her a question about the baby's medication. Nobody was there. Raja came on in at the end. He didn't even hear nothing. None of that. He just heard me and his mother arguing, her fussing, yelling at me, and then I started. What he didn't know, I was getting cussed out for an hour while I was at CVS. While I was gone, what's taking me so long? And all this trying to get Keyzion's medication. Well, I come back home, and she is still cussing, and you didn't have to be gone all that long. And I'm sitting up there waiting at CVS to get his vital, very important, his medication he has to have. And so I asked the nurse, and the nurse gave me the hand. She's doing something or whatever. And I said, and I whispered to Keke at the time, I said, you see that? And I just whispered, oh, she didn't do nothing. What you jumping on her for? To throw me up under the bus with the nurse. And then it's like I did something. And what I did at that point, I exposed her. I said, the way you disrespect me, cuss me out in front of these children, the nurses, the oldest kids don't have no respect for me. The nurses don't have no respect for me. The nurse have to use the bathroom. She's running all the way to the other side of the house and going upstairs if Kiki's getting her nails done, to give her my youngest son, Keziah, versus giving me the baby, because the nurse, they didn't have respect for me for how she treated me. She had no respect for me as her husband. None. And so it becomes a thing of how Miss Barbara, what did I do to Miss Barbara? Ain't did nothing. It wasn't even about her. I had whispered to Kiki and said, she gave me the hand. And what, Barbara didn't do nothing. And that's how that got started. Okay? The oldest kid. And so Beans following me around. I don't know if he had a crush on her or what. He liked Miss Barbara. And I had whispered to Kiki and said, she gave me the hand. And you know, Barbara didn't do nothing. And that's how that got started. Okay? The oldest kid. And so Beans followed me around. I don't know if he had a crush on her or what. He liked Miss Barbara. And so he followed me around about, you're a deadly weapon. You got to be careful. You're a deadly weapon and you scare people. And like he going to do something. I finally told him. I was sitting down. He's hovering over me. I said, son, get away from me. Didn't your sister just beat you up 2 years ago, a year and a half ago? What do you think I'm going to do? I mean, get away from me. Quit following me around. Because I knew if I restrained him or I jumped on him, then Keke is going to go run and get her gun or go get her knife. And then what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna lay everybody down. No, no, and be like this behind prison walls, looking beyond like I'm a dummy. No. So I told him that, and his feelings got hurt. Okay, and so anyway, that's the reason why he bumped into me the last time that I had to leave. That's the reason why he was bumping into me. Okay, because he was had told me when I had came back even from my sister's house in front of his mother. He went to go sit. He didn't even know it, but I was inviting him out for breakfast. I was knocked on his window one day. It was early in the morning, and he was taking the kids to school. And I knocked on his window. I came all around the house, and it scared him. And I was invited. Can I take you to breakfast? And he didn't even know because I was going to confront him away from his mother. And son, we would have seen how bad you really were. Okay, but God don't want that. God didn't call me. I wasn't allowed to be a daddy anyway. Okay, I was raised up. The children get their teeth knocked out of their mouth for the way I've seen these kids disrespect their parents and me and stuff like that. Listen, I'm never violent to the children, any of that. I kissed her behind. I was always kissing her behind, and it was sincere. I loved them. I was trying to teach them, that you're going to cease to exist if you get out here in the real world and you keep doing this. Somebody's going to get you. My younger daughter, Mimi, she's trying to fight people, grown women, 45-year-old black women at the mall. Talking about she gonna beat that A and all, not knowing if that woman got a beat her up, got a knife in her purse, or let alone a firearm. And then I have to get a call about my younger daughter not there, cease to exist. Okay. Well, shortly after she had whooped a Bean and he fell on her and was holding it down, she was stomping the mess, kicking him, whatever. And Keke had pulled a gun on. A couple years later, she was spitting in Kemar, my younger son. He recorded the video. She was spitting in his boy's face. Kemar sent the video to me. He showed me. I had it on my phone. I kind of hinted at it, but I told him I saw the video. I had it on my phone where she's spitting in this boy's face on the bus, calling him all type of BITCHs and all this stuff, spitting, flying in his face. Well, he walked away from and something she kept going on with it or whatever, bullying him, and somehow or another he ended up turning around her, talking about he's scared and this and that. Anyway, he ended up beating her up. Listen, he broke her nose. He got the better of her, and he beat her up. And guess what happened? She was on the bus, unconscious, and we got a call. We were out of town for one of Keke's shows. She was unconscious, not breathing. And Keke's running around the hotel. She had a show. This is before a show, about to lose her mind. And calling Andre and all this on the phone and everybody praying and everything and all this. Y'all, I'm very embarrassed having to tell all of this. A Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger. I said, God, why'd you do this to me? I believe this was this young lady's last chance. But let's get back to this. So that was the day, the whole reason for me, and I done took a half an hour explaining it. The whole reason for me leaving the first time. And guess what? So when he bumped into me, I started cussing. Back to my son bumping into me. Man, I started cussing and going off. I said, here I've humbled myself for 5.5 years putting up with you and Raja, with your disrespectful mouths. And here I humble, and he acting like he want to fight. He didn't want to fight me. He was trying to get me to provoke his mother, and I already knew what was going to happen. If I put my hands on that boy, she was going to run to the knife drawer. And I carry a filet mignon. And it wasn't going, we're not going there. You're not going to stab me, Miss Keke. You're not going to kill me. I had thrown her gun clip away a month ago before that happened because I saw something coming. I said, you're not going to shoot me? Yeah, I've had the gun, like I expressed, waved at me 45, 50 times. She be calling me bees, broke this, broke that. I'm the one carrying all her bags through the airport, 80 pounds. You know, it seemed like 100 pounds. What I'm carrying all her luggage by hand. I'm a strong dude. Okay, all through the airport. It don't matter how long. I didn't need a cart. Okay, suitcase. You name it. Okay, and our driver. She said, "You're not my security. You're not my security." That's why I wore what I wore. Tank them. All people talking about black. I was depressed. Tank top, a knockout drag out outfit. In other words, when the police, when I went to shows, they like, "Why are we here?" They would laugh at me. Like, dude, as big as you are, why are we even? We need the police. You know, I'm just like my brother, a world-class wrestler. I'm not the one. Not the one. All this bully stuff and all this stuff. And so anyway, dang, I ended up cussing, going off, and I really wanted to teach them a lesson, but I have to go on. Raja called the police. He calls the police right then and there with his arrogant self, his coward self, talking about that I got guns. I'm have them in hostage, holding them in hostage, and this is all on the ring camera. And she only played chopped up a shorter version of me cussing to make me look bad and showing my older sister and showing everybody. But you didn't show my older son coming bumping shoulders with me and trying to be Mr. Tough Guy. Now, what if he would have brushed your shoulders, Keke? Would you have stabbed him? You already held that gun 3 feet away, ready to shoot him down dead. Okay? Because you don't care about your life and you're a maniac. You're a lunatic. Okay? The ring camera. She has a short recorded clip of me going off on them and but not being bumping. All that was recorded, and she just played a little chopped up. It's bad when somebody knows what's going on, and there's so much of a liar. She said if her children killed somebody, if they took somebody out, she would go and say that she committed the homicide, that she did it, so that they could go free. That's how crazy this woman was. Her children were her God, but her number one God was Raja. Okay, and we're not gonna get into the things that Raja did before he got cancer. And a monster. Okay. And so out of love, we're gonna leave it alone. Okay. But this is what happened. This is the last day of me leaving that house. That was it for life. And so I left, and that was it. And so this is where Larry Weathers and for 3 weeks after I left, she's calling this man who's living with his wife in Kentucky, Ebony. They would come over and visit several times. We'd go out to eat and everything. This is her cousin. And so 3 weeks after I left, she cannot be alone, a lunatic. And so she figures out that I'm not coming back. I'm never coming back. Okay? Smart girl. And so she calls her cousin, who's still married to his wife, has him to come. He comes like 1 or 2 times. The second time, he stays. Him with his opportunist self. Forgive me. He's an opportunist. Him as an opportunist, he saw to take advantage of the situation, to use her money, to get at that bank account. Okay, and so after he locked it in and convinced her and tell her, you got to divorce Zackariah. It's got to stop. And his manipulation. 2 manipulators. Okay. She shaved her hair off after I left. Okay. 2 manipulators. And so he convinces her, you got to divorce him and everything. And so once Larry secured that she was getting a divorce, the goal was this, is for Larry to get his divorce, her to get her divorce. She thought, I think he was already divorced, but he called Ebony after he was telling her he locked it in, asking his wife for a divorce. So this woman stole her cousin away from his wife and had her own cousin to come live with her, and they began an incestual relationship, having sex and a sexual relationship, and then said they're going to start a church. Hopefully you guys can see that. It might be backwards. We're starting a church. Y'all guys can kind of put that together. I don't know if it's going to show up backwards on the screen or not. But hey, everybody, we're starting a church. And in the video, she's taking the video at her home in her bedroom. She passes the phone to her cousin, Larry Weathers. Okay. And to my partner, we're going to be starting a church in February. And look at this. Look at this mess. Nikki Gilbert goes and does a whole interview on them, and she put a small clip it up, 3-minute clip it. I don't know if it was 3 minutes. She goes to Sound of Atlanta, the name of the church. Y'all remember this? Sound Atlanta. Okay, look, all the receipts are here. Okay, this is Larry Weathers. This is Keke. Now let's get Ebony. Let's get some pictures. Let's do this the right way. Where's my iPad? Y'all give me a second. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't care if it's a little ghetto. We nipping all this mess in the bud. Okay, dang. Okay. Yeah, I erased all those. Here, we're going to do something like this. Give me a second, y'all. Bear with me. Okay. Okay. All right, where we at? Okay, I'm almost there, y'all. All right, here's his wife. I don't know if it's going to come up backwards. Ebony Unapologetic W. Weathers, unapologetically E. Okay, this is his wife. Larry Weathers' wife. My sister. She was family, you know, because I was married into the family. Check this out, y'all. Watch this. Just bear with me. Who is this? That's Larry and his wife, Ebony. And guess what they had? They had their own church. It was called Sound Lebanon, Kentucky. So he took the church name, Sound, Lebanon, Kentucky, Sound, and he used that to create Sound Atlanta with Keke, his cousin. Sleeping together in the room, locked in the room with the refrigerator, not coming out of the room, in a sexual ancestral relationship, living with Keke in her bedroom. Excuse me. And you're pastors? You're going to start a church? What is God going to do to you? What is the Lord going to do to you? Hold on, I'm getting another. I'm getting some more. Okay, he was with his wife. Keke called him to come and live and with her. And so the goal was, y'all get divorced. And you get a divorce from Zackariah. And the goal was for them to get married. Keke wanted them to get married, a lunatic. So she wanted to marry her cousin and was trying to have a baby by her own cousin. Okay. Ebony didn't even know nothing about this. Somebody had to tell her. She didn't even know what was going on. She was still posting on Keke's page. Hey, girl, yeah, you done cut off all your hair and she's sitting up there with your husband, Ebony. That's my sister. I love her. All right. Let's go to some pictures of the church. Now, mind you, this I kind of feel bad. I did all this talking about the kids. We're 47 minutes in, but we're gonna keep it rocking and rolling. Okay. I kind of feel bad because this is the more interesting stuff. Okay. Let's go down here to the church. All right. Y'all bear with me now. Just bear with me. Well, let's bring this up. This is Larry. He had a widowmaker heart attack. His daddy had died, I think, back in 2020. 2 years later, he had the same thing his father died from. And I think he was in the pulpit when God struck him. He had a widowmaker heart attack. And Larry died. This guy, Keke's cousin she was sleeping with, allegedly, died. Okay. And they had to resuscitate him on a Sunday, Larry. Okay. And God gave him another chance. And you mean to tell me this is how you repay God, Larry? This is how you repay God, and you don't think there's no hell, and you can just live any kind of way? Where do you think Hitler's at, Larry? Where do you think hell that the devil and his angels are going to? The lake of fire. It ain't none of that. Now, I told you I'm a seasoned veteran. I've been out the body thousands of times. I've had thousands of near-death experiences, been to heaven and to hell. So because you ain't never left your body, you ain't never been to hell, you gonna risk that chance, Larry? You know better. No, what it is you don't want to do. People don't want to. They don't want no rules. They want to do whatever they want to do, and think they're gonna make it in. Think they're gonna make it to heaven. You're gonna get to heaven anyhow. Saved by grace. Listen, God told me to tell you that people have been prostituting His grace. He said, "No liars, no fornicators, no adulterers." Huh? They'll have their part in the lake of fire. Okay. And so you didn't learn your lesson. Was down for a whole year. And after this, after you down for a whole year with a widowmaker heart attack, like your father who passed away a couple years before you, you gonna go to your cousin's house and seize the opportunity for money because you are a greedy, money hungry, seeking devil, that you're gonna seize the opportunity to become, I'm a prophet. So to become because you want to be a famous pastor across the world and have everybody look at you and maybe hopefully drive a Bentley, your ambitions, and have a secret lust for your own cousin anyway, because you never would have done it if it wasn't there in the first place. You would have turned her down. But have a secret lust? Ugh. And this is all very embarrassing and disgusting for me ever to be connected to. But God has His reasons, and God has exposed you guys because God is cleaning house. He's cleaning house. Okay? Y'all give me a second. I know I'm all over the place here, but we just exposing it how we need to. I'm going to go ahead and cut this video in a minute. It's almost an hour in. Okay. So let's quit beating around the bush. Larry, he couldn't take it anymore. The abuse and all that stuff, and she was having to pay for him. See, she having to buy him. Had to put the money on the nightstand. See, paying all the musicians, the church, and she and like dang it, where's the picture at? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold up. Excuse me. And so, like the new guy, Mr. Anthony Hardaway, I'm just kidding, Mr. Anthony Wyatt, allegedly, you were paying your cousin, Mr. Larry Weathers, to sleep with you, to be there with you, to live with you. But guess what? He couldn't take it anymore. Yeah, Larry Weathers live Facebook. He should be deleting it in a little bit with all the stuff that's going to be coming out. He should be shutting his page down a little bit. So get it while you can if it's still up. This is the church, Sound Atlanta. Okay, allegedly. Sound Atlanta. And so Larry, after I left, okay. After I left, that relationship lasted. It ended until Mother's Day of 2024 is when Larry had enough. He left. Okay, they've been getting into it, all this stuff. Okay, and so Mother's Day 2024. So I guess that was March. Yeah, March. The church, by the way, the church started in February, March, April. It ended at the end of April, March. So Larry left. He left around Mother's Day, I believe. She took a trip and he didn't go with her. She came back. His stuff was gone. He was gone. Okay. Allegedly, she was trying to have a baby with her own cousin, Larry. Yeah. The goal is for them to get their divorces and then get married as cousins. That's where this guy comes in. Okay, the bowling alley dude, handsome guy. Okay, I'm not a hater. I was proud of her for being with someone that she's not related to. This is sick. Okay, but guess what, honey? All his other women, you didn't talk and find out. Let me throw this out here. If I, y'all know I'm a prophet. So if I get you this Rolls Royce Wraith, of course she ain't gonna put in his name. I don't think she that stupid. If I lease this Rolls Royce Wraith, it's yours as long as you stay here. What can I? Here's a question mark. What can I do to get you to stay? Money. Okay. I think y'all understand. So if you wanna, you got to pay to play. So while she had called me broke and talking about broke this and that, Larry and Mr. she has been coming out of all kind of money to go for my cousin. This guy, the new guy, was introduced after Larry left. So right after Larry left, Freddie O introduced Anthony to her. A setup. Go get that money. And he's letting you know when y'all get into it, be careful, watch your mouth, because he saw the people that got money, the owners can become beggars, is what Mr. Anthony is saying. Watch yourself, humble yourself, because he's seen people going to be rich and to be poor and be the workers. Okay, and so a lot of women wondering what's going on because they got money invested in it. Okay. I just did it this way. And if it was a little ghetto, forgive me. I had to go ahead and go there. Just tell it the best way I can.
All right, there you have it. Listing here. That was Keke Wyatt's ex-husband, Zach. And Zach seems like he is very, very, very over it. He seems disgusted with Keke. And I think that he's only, trying to keep it together because he has a child with her, you know. And when it comes to Keke, I mean, when you look at her rant off, I remember she had ranted off on MC Shaky and was calling him all types of black this and black that. And she's a colorist. I don't know if y'all know that, but she's a colorist. You know, I used to enjoy her song, the My First Love song, but I don't know. I'm worn out from Keke. It seems like she's always screaming into the mic. She's another Alicia Keys. I don't know who her DJ is, but if they could just cut her volume down a little bit, all that screaming, then she's screaming around the house. And then her oldest son, there's a lot of mama boys out there. Oh, my son, my son, my son, he could never do anything wrong. And then Zach also said that she said that if any of her children went out and committed unalivement, that she'll put herself out there and say, oh, I did it just to save them. So you do that, they go out, they do it again, then they get caught up, and then y'all are all in there together. Make it make sense. Like, what is really up with her thinking? You all let me know in the comments how you feel about this whole situation, and we will be back here live here in just a moment. Thank you so much for everybody that tuned in for this broadcast. Until next time, so long. I have to drop you off in Queen City. And also, thank you so much for not parking on the lawn. All right. Do we have, um, let's see. All right, where is our production? Can we get our sign up and can you drop us off in Queen City? All right, there we go. Prepare for a takeoff.